Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. After unexpected stay of 9 months in space, NASA astronauts Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore return on SpaceX Dragon capsule. Duo did 150 experiments and 900 hours of research during their stint on the ISS. Russian President Putin agrees to 30-day halt to Ukraine energy facility strikes in Trump call, but refuses a full ceasefire unless West halts military aid to Kyiv. Both sides to exchange 175 prisoners on Wednesday. Israel increases pressure on Hamas as airstrikes continue in Gaza after 2 months of truce. US envoy to the UN says blame lies solely with Hamas. Gulf nations EU express concern at the flare-up. US judge finds Elon Musk's USAID cuts likely unconstitutional, blocks him and Doge from making more cuts. Trump to appeal the ruling. 10th Raisina Dialogue concludes today in New Delhi. Minister of External Affairs S. Jaishankar will speak on commissars and capitalists, politics, business and new world order. Stranded NASA astronauts Suni Williams and Butch Wilmore returned to Earth after spending 9 unplanned months in space. The crew returned in a SpaceX capsule on Tuesday with a soft splashdown off Florida's coast, following which NASA held a return to Earth news conference where they informed that the crew is doing great. At the presser, Operations Integration Manager of NASA's ISS program, Bill Spitek, said Sunita and Butch did 150 experiments and 900 hours of research during their stint on the International Space Station.
Crew contributed to more than 150 unique experiments, like Joel said, including stem cell technology to potentially address blood diseases, autoimmune disorders, and cancers. They tested lighting systems to help maintain circadian rhythms, which will help improve conditions for not only future crews as you go through spaceflight, but also those on the ground for shift workers and those in extreme or remote environments. They did plant growth and quality experiments to support future Moon and Mars missions as we look forward with that. They loaded a really interesting experiment. JAXA had their first wooden satellite. They loaded that into and got that deployed from the ISS. And then as part of their spacewalk, Butch and Sunny collected samples from the station's exterior to study the survivability of microorganisms in the vacuum of space.
At the press conference, Deputy Associate Administrator of NASA's Space Operations Mission Directorate, Joel Montalbano, says the work that NASA astronauts did benefits the nation and increases the chance that NASA will hit its goal of landing a person on Moon and Mars.
Congratulate the entire NASA commercial crew program, the SpaceX team. You know, in many ways, if I step back to last year, this has been 9 months in the making, and I couldn't be prouder of our team's versatility, our team's ability to adapt and really build for the future of human spaceflight and looking at different ways to do business, taking advantage of one vehicle to launch a crew and then bring back the crew in a different vehicle. Our partner SpaceX did a tremendous job. Every time we asked them to do something a little different, they stepped up and to the plate and did that, including swapping capsules 6 weeks ago prior to Crew 10, and then also adjusting the Crew 9 mission.
Wilmore and Williams, 2 veteran NASA astronauts and retired US Navy test pilots, had launched into space as Starliner's first crew in June for what was expected to be an 8-day test mission. But issues with Starliner's propulsion system led to cascading delays to their return home, culminating in a NASA decision to have them take a SpaceX craft back this year as part of the agency's crew rotation schedule. We now tell you how the mission Return to Earth was carried out. A SpaceX Crew Dragon spaceship carrying Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams, alongside fellow American Nick Hague and Russian cosmonaut Alexander Gorbunov, streaked through the atmosphere before deploying parachutes for a gentle splashdown of the Florida coast at 5:57 p.m. local time or 21:57 GMT. Ground teams erupted in cheers as spacecraft named Freedom bobbed steadily on the waves beneath a clear, sunny sky. As fast boats raced to the capsule for initial safety checks, an unlikely escort arrived in the form of a playful pod of dolphins. As fast boats raced to the capsule for initial safety checks, an unlikely escort arrived in the form of a playful pod of dolphins. And soon after, a larger recovery vessel hoisted Freedom aboard. Teams opened the hatch, and one by one, the astronauts were helped out onto mobility aids, waving and flashing thumbs-up signs. India's Minister for Science and Technology, Dr. Jitendra Singh, hailed the safe homecoming of stranded NASA astronauts. Sharing on social media platform X, he wrote, and I quote, "A moment of glory, pride and relief. The whole world comes together to celebrate the safe return of this illustrious daughter of India, who has instantly gone down in the history for the courage, conviction and consistency with which she endured the uncertainties of space." Unquote. And Russian President Vladimir Putin has agreed to halt attacks on energy infrastructure targets in Ukraine for 30 days after a phone call with US President Donald Trump. Putin ordered the Russian military to stop strikes against energy facilities following a lengthy phone call between the two leaders on Tuesday. But he stopped short of accepting a broader US-backed 30-day ceasefire proposal that Ukraine has said it is ready to implement. The Russian leader declined to sign up to the comprehensive month-long ceasefire that Trump's team recently worked out with Ukrainians in Saudi Arabia. He said a comprehensive truce could only work if foreign military aid and intelligence sharing with Ukraine came to an end. Ukraine's European allies have previously rejected such conditions. Trump posted on social media that Tuesday's call with the Russian leader was very good and productive. Ukraine on Wednesday accused Russia of effectively rejecting a US-backed ceasefire proposal, reporting a barrage of strikes on civilian infrastructure hours after Moscow agreed only to pause attacks on the energy grid. Zelensky, however, welcomed the proposed energy truce but said he needed more details from Washington. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has authorized the resumption of military action in Gaza after Hamas refused offer to release hostages. He warned that massive overnight strikes on Gaza were only the beginning and that future negotiations with Hamas will take place only under fire. Netanyahu also urged Palestinians in Gaza to avoid any contact with Hamas and get out of harm's way. Tuesday's strikes, by far the largest since a truce took effect in January. Negotiations have stalled over how to proceed with the ceasefire, whose first phase has expired, with Israel and Hamas disagreeing on whether to move to a new phase intended to bring the war to an end. Israel vowed to keep fighting until the return of all the hostages seized by Hamas during the October 2023 attack.
Hamas refused offer after offer to release our hostages. In the past 2 weeks, Israel did not initiate any military action in the hope that Hamas would change course. Well, that didn't happen. While Israel accepted the offer of President Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, Hamas flatly refused to do so.
Meanwhile, Israel's new chief of military staff, Eyal Zamir, met with Israeli troops during a visit to Rafah, Gaza. His visit to Rafah comes after Israeli airstrikes pounded Gaza, ending weeks of relative calm after talks to secure a permanent ceasefire stalled. A federal judge on Tuesday blocked billionaire Elon Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency from taking any more steps to shut down the US agency for International Development. The judge said their efforts to close the agency likely violated the US Constitution. He also ordered President Donald Trump's advisor Musk and Doge to restore access to USAID's computer systems for the agency's direct and contract employees, including thousands who've been placed on leave. The ruling came in response to a lawsuit by current and former employees, one of several currently pending over the rapid dismantling of the Foreign Aid Agency. The Chief Justice of the US Supreme Court has released a statement in response to President Donald Trump's call to impeach a judge who ruled against his administration over migrant deportations. US Chief Justice John Roberts rebuked President Trump for suggesting the way to resolve a court dispute was by impeaching the judge. Trump earlier referred to US District Judge as a troublemaker and agitator after he ordered the administration to halt deportations of alleged Venezuelan gang members to El Salvador. The rebuke by Roberts, a conservative who was appointed by Republican former President George W. Bush, and Trump echoes one from 2018 when Roberts defended the judiciary's independence after persistent attacks by Trump during his first term in office. Democratic Republic of Congo President Felix Tshisekedi and his Rwanda counterpart Paul Kagame held district talks for the first time since Rwanda-backed M23 rebels seized two major cities in eastern DRC. In a joint statement issued with Qatar, whose emir mediated the talks in Doha, the countries called for an immediate ceasefire in eastern DRC. The talks came after M23 representatives pulled out of a planned meeting with the DRC government in Angola on Tuesday after European Union sanctioned 3 Rwandan military commanders and the country's mining agency chief over support for the M23 fighters. The DRC has accused Rwanda of sending weapons and troops to support the M23 rebels, which Rwanda has denied. Meanwhile, former Democratic Republic of Congo President Joseph Kabila warned of potential turmoil anywhere in the Congo and blamed his successor for the ongoing conflict with M23 rebels during a visit to South Africa on Tuesday. Kabila's comments come as Congo's president and Rwandan president called for an immediate ceasefire in eastern Congo during Qatar-mediated talks. Hundreds of thousands of people were forced to flee climate disasters last year. The United Nations highlighted the urgent need for early warning systems covering the entire planet. According to the UN's Weather and Climate Agency, poorer countries are severely affected by cyclones, droughts, wildfires and other disasters. Besides underlining the massive economic and social upheavals from extreme weather, the State of Global Climate report said climate change indicators had once again reached record levels. The report said 2024 was the warmest year in the 175-year observational record and the first calendar year over the 1.5 degrees Celsius threshold, with the global mean near surface temperature 1.55 degrees Celsius above the 1850 to 1900 average. And still to come on this edition of DD India Live. 14th meeting of ASEAN Defence Ministers meeting plus experts working group on counter-terrorism to begin in New Delhi from today. Indian shuttlers Ayush Shetty and S. Sankar Muthuswamy advanced to main draw of the Swiss Open. And logo, anthem and mascot of the Khelo India Para Games 2025 were launched ahead of beginning of games on Thursday.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. The third and last day of the 10th edition of Raisina Dialogue will include several sessions with decision makers and thought leaders of the world discussing geopolitics and geoeconomics. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, along with other speakers, will share his thoughts on the topic: commissars and capitalists, politics, business and new world order. They will discuss the ways of how business and geopolitical imperatives are reshaping global trade, finance and digital landscapes. The panel will also explore how political decisions are shaping businesses and are being implicated by them. Over 3,500 participants from about 125 countries have joined the dialogue in person. In various sessions, the participants are discussing the state of the world and explore opportunities for cooperation on a wide range of contemporary matters. Georgia's Foreign Minister Maka Botchorishvili has called for stronger bilateral ties with India across political, economic and educational sectors. The DD India correspondent Jessica Taneja spoke to her during her visit to New Delhi for the Raisina Dialogue 2025, where she highlighted Georgia's role as a key transit hub between Europe and Asia and its appeal as a destination for Indian tourists and students. Listen in.
We have with us the Foreign Affairs Minister of Georgia. Thank you for speaking to DD India. Tell us about your visit to India and the Raisina Dialogue. You've had quite a few meetings and sessions to attend today. What have been the key takeaways for you?
First of all, that's a very important forum, and it's my honor to be here and very grateful for this invitation. This is a great opportunity to have dialogue with stakeholders from different countries, and that's a very good opportunity for us. India is a very important partner for Georgia. Georgia is very good destination for Indian students and Indian tourists, and we have plenty of potential to explore, to expand our bilateral relationship.
What are the key areas that you want to work with when it comes to India?
Well, Georgia is located in a very strategically important region, and we look at different areas to expand our economic ties and economic relationship. And of course, that is number one priority for us, to look at the possibilities to see where we can cooperate, to have more intense economic cooperation between two countries, and to use potential that Georgia can offer, India can offer, and to make this cooperation mutually beneficial for both countries. And of course, politically, India is also a very important player in the region, and we intend to have very good, friendly relationship with India, and that's very important also to expand it.
Thank you. Appreciate you taking our time for us. That was the Foreign Minister of Georgia telling us that India is an important partner when it comes to relationships, and that's something that she'll continue to build momentum on. Jessica Taneja with video person Naveen for DD India, New Delhi.
The 14th meeting of ASEAN Defence Ministers Meeting Plus Experts Working Group on Counter-Terrorism will begin in New Delhi from today. India and Malaysia will co-chair the two-day meeting, which will also be attended by delegations from 10 ASEAN members and 8 dialogue partners, along with Timor-Leste and ASEAN Secretariat. Discussions will focus on evolving a robust and comprehensive strategy designed to tackle the evolving threat of terrorism and extremism. The meeting aims to share the on-ground experience of the defence forces of ASEAN and its dialogue partners. Defence Secretary Rajesh Kumar Singh will deliver the keynote address during the opening ceremony. Union Minister of State for Earth Sciences Jitendra Singh reviewed the progress of key meteorological initiatives, including Mission Mausam, pushed for enhanced weather forecasting, and assessed the status of Doppler weather radar installations across India. Dr. Jitendra Singh underscored the importance of real-time and impact-based weather forecasting, emphasizing that no weather hazard should go undetected or unpredicted. With extreme weather events becoming more frequent, the government's focus on expanding radar coverage and improving dissemination mechanism marks a crucial step in safeguarding lives and livelihoods. The discussion at the review meeting set the stage for faster implementation of weather monitoring projects, reinforcing India's leadership in climate resilience and disaster preparedness. The weather forecast for the coming days indicates a gradual rise in temperatures over northwest India, while central India, interior Maharashtra and eastern parts will experience slight fluctuations. Heat wave conditions are expected in isolated areas of Odisha, Gujarat and Karnataka. Heat wave conditions are likely to continue at isolated pockets over interior Odisha. Hot and humid conditions are very likely to prevail in isolated pockets over coastal areas of Gujarat state during next 2 days and over interior Karnataka till March 20th. Meanwhile, Delhi NCR has seen a slight dip in temperatures with clear skies and mild winds prevailing in the region. There has been a fall in minimum and maximum temperatures up to 2 degrees Celsius over Delhi NCR during the past 24 hours. The maximum and minimum temperatures over Delhi are in range of 28 to 30 degrees Celsius and 13 to 16 degrees Celsius respectively. You're watching DD India Live and time now for sport. And two-time Olympic medalist PV Sindhu is set to face Julie Duvall-Jacobsen in the round of 32 of Swiss Open 2025 on Wednesday. Star shuttler Sindhu will continue her quest to regain form after suffering an opening round exit from All England Championship. Meanwhile, Indian shuttlers Ayush Shetty and S. Sankar Muthuswamy advanced to the main draw of the Swiss Open with commanding performances in the qualifiers on Tuesday. Shetty eased past Sholan Kayan of England to secure his spot in the main round, while Muthuswamy had to battle through 2 rounds, including one against compatriot Tarun Manapalli. The Khelo India Para Games logo, anthem and mascot were launched by Union Sports Minister Dr. Mansukh Mandavia at Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium on Tuesday. The second edition of the Para Games will be held at 3 venues in New Delhi from March 20 to 27. The Khelo India Para Games mascot Ujwala was launched on the sidelines of Fit India Carnival. The mascot Ujwala is a sparrow that symbolizes the pride of Delhi and represents determination and empathy.
खेलो इंडिया पैरा गेम्स की दूसरी एडिशन का आज जवाहरलाल नेहरू स्टेडियम दिल्ली में प्रारंभ हुआ। इस कंपटीशन में कुल मिला के 1300 से अधिक पैरा एथलीट पार्टिसिपेंट करेंगे, भाग लेंगे, 6 डिसिप्लिन में भाग लेंगे। खेलो इंडिया प्लेटफॉर्म देश के खिलाड़ियों को देश के अंदर कंपटीशन करने की एक बहुत अच्छी अपॉर्चुनिटी देते हैं। आज मुझे खुशी है कि मेरे देश के पैरा एथलीट्स यहाँ कंपटीशन में भाग लेंगे और एक कंपटीशन से खेलेंगे। देश और दुनिया में पैरा एथलीट्स देश का नाम रोशन करेंगे।
The President of the Boxing Federation of India, Ajay Singh, has suspended Secretary General Himanta Kumar Kalita and Treasurer Digvijay Singh following an independent investigation into financial mismanagement. The decision follows a complaint from Sports Authority of India regarding alleged financial irregularities within the Federation. BFI appointed retired Delhi High Court Judge Justice Sudhir Kumar Jain to conduct an independent inquiry into the matter. Justice Jain's report found Kalita and Singh guilty of serious financial irregularities and mismanagement of funds. As a result, they were immediately suspended from their respective positions in BFI. That's all for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.